welcome back, everybody. Michael, as you know, it's snowing outside. It's really cold. I think last night got down under, I think it was 11 degrees around midnight. I was up pretty late last night, more of a night owl. But how are you doing on this cold Monday night, deep in the middle of winter? You're doing pretty good, aren't you, with that Lions win, right?
Go Lions, man. First
Yeah.
win since I was -7, -6 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
Um, Means a lot, man. I stick with my teams. Earlier this season, one of our pods, I was wearing a Pistons hoodie. So I stick with my teams, and no greater example than the lowly Lions, the same old Lions who finally put to bed SOL. Same old line's been a thing for my whole life. So they stepped up, man. I feel good, but can't be satisfied. That's a loser's mentality. One win is not enough. Got to keep rolling. So got the winner this Tampa Philly game that I'll be tuning into tonight. So feeling good.
Well, Michael, I know it's kind of funny. We do most of the asking the questions on our kind of roles, but for a second, if I want to kind of make you be like you be Coach Michael or player Michael for a second, let's hear your post game thoughts, Michael. You all won a big game last night in the playoff, going to the playoffs, over the Rams. What's your post game thoughts? How'd that win feel?
Man, we really just stick together as a team. We blocked out all the outside noise, really just came together as a group, got a lot of great coaches that keep our heads on straight. And we just go on out there and play ball, man. That's all we got to do. Go out there and play ball. And that's just one. Got another one next week. Got to keep staying together, keep on fighting.
Nice, nice. Good job, Michael. We're ready for that win. I'm someone that does not keep up with the NFL out at all. And it says unless it's like a UK player. I've watched a lot of Titans game this year for Will Levis, things like that, Giants for Wandell. But I don't keep with the NFL outside of maybe the Super Bowl like everybody does. Can you honestly, I couldn't even tell you until we talked about it a minute ago who they played last night. So did that get them into the playoffs, or like was it the first game of the playoffs, or like you might have to kind of tell me where they're at?
Trace, I'm getting a little confused on what your life is outside of Kentucky basketball, because you did no Lord of the Rings, no Harry Potter, no Star Wars last week, and then this week no NFL football. I mean, good God, buddy, are you under a rock or what's going on? Like NFL playoffs. I mean, I know March Madness is the best, postseason bracket, postseason madness. But the NFL playoffs, man, it's a great time. You got some good teams left. Buffalo just won, and Philly. I'm scared of Philly. So the winner of this game tonight is coming to Detroit, which is nice because Dallas lost, and get Dallas out of here. They were the 2 seed, so we're the 3. Meaning we get home field next week. So it all comes down to Philly and Tampa. I like Tampa. Like that's an opponent I want to face. I don't want to face Philly because they've been kind of rough the last few weeks. They made the Super Bowl last year, 10-1 start to the year, been crashing ever since. So if they win a game, then you think, uh-oh, maybe they're back. I don't want to mess with that. Give me Tampa. But you should tune in. You should tune in on Sunday at 3 p.m. Lions and probably Tampa.
I can be a Lions fan for the day. We'll root for your team. Michael, I do gotta admit, I'm a little weird. I do sometimes live under the rock. It's like I'm all in on Kentucky athletics, 125%, maybe, and I try to throw in some college basketball and the NBA as well in there. But man, outside of that, I don't. I mean, some of it's time. I know we all got busy schedules. My free time, I give it to other things instead of more sports, which I don't blame you at all. I wish I kind of had another team that I love just as much as Kentucky, but I really don't. So I do live a little bit under a rock sometimes, and I like to disassociate sometimes. But you know how busy it is with our UK schedules. It's like it takes up so much of your time. It's like so much, and like I get a little burned out sometimes if I'm being honest with you. So that's part of it. But yeah, I can definitely say since that Texas A&M loss, I have been a little bit under a rock. That last few minutes in the overtime really disappointed me, man. To kind of wrap it into this Texas A&M recap, um, Kentucky, in my opinion, they absolutely gave that game away. And I would call it a choke. They choked their way out of it. I think they went 0 for 8 in overtime. Didn't even make a basket in overtime outside of a couple of free throws. They had the lead with a couple minutes left in regulation, and we to start off, what kind of went downhill is that Robert Dillingham passed to DJ Wagner, and people online have been trying to debate whose fault that was. And if you ask me, I'm going with DJ Wagner. It wasn't the best pass from Rob Dillingham, to be honest with you, but I went back and watched that play to try to get my opinion on it a couple times, and it hit DJ Wagner in a range that you can catch it. It wasn't perfect on your chest, but it's a little bit out. But he had possession of it for like a half a second. The slow motion replay, he touched it, and it ain't like it just hit off. He had it and then kind of went to go bring it down and dropped it, and the guy took off. Of course, if Rob gives him a better pass, that doesn't happen. But that one I kind of went. It was more of DJ dropping the ball. They took off, scored a layup, got fouled. Then we went down with like 7 seconds left. And here's the thing that I'm kind of stuck on. I don't understand why on that last play, or actually the last two plays, because Cal wanted Robert Dillingham bringing the ball up, and I couldn't understand that. I really didn't understand that why. I know he was just coming off a hot hand of 3 straight threes, but he comes down, then those that pass to DJ, they take off. Well, then they got one final play, 89 or it was 89 to 87 down two with 7 seconds left. Well, the very last shot, Rob Dillingham brings it up again. I didn't understand that, but that's what the coach went with. He comes down and kind of shoots a fast three, misses it. Then Reed gets that tough rebound and tries to get the game winner, gets fouled, free throws, lethal overtime. Just going off before we get into overtime, going on the last few minutes of regulation, did you feel like it was a choke like I did, or like what's your kind of thoughts on those last few minutes at A&M?
I wouldn't call it a choke, really. I feel like both teams played really well. Somebody's just got to lose the game, and that's just what happened. A&M's at home, and Wade Taylor. I mean, if you're going under on screens and Bradshaw's like playing drop on a screen against SEC preseason player of the year, like that's just not a smart decision. And you can't let that guy cook. Like you just got to play up on him and let him drive or let him drive and kick and hope that you can live to fight the rest of the defensive possession, but you just can't let him cook like that. So that's the mistake. The Rob DJ pass, I mean, there's just not really like a debate there. It doesn't really matter. And that's the thing you know, about Big Blue Nation is like they love to just like you guys love to like pick stuff to like and the fans do it and they like freak out on Twitter. It's like, no, it's not a big deal. He shouldn't have dropped the ball. If Rob passes to DJ in that instance another 100 times, he's not dropping the ball again. It just happens. You hate to see it, but it's not whose fault. Like it's that debate doesn't need to happen. So
To play
at the end
devil's
of the day,
to
huh?
play I think to play devil's advocate, I think the reason why they're doing it is because that turnover led to Texas A&M going up two with like under 10 seconds left when
For sure.
we should have had the last shot with the tie. It was tied. We should have had the last shot. If you miss it overtime, if you make it, you're a hero. I think it doesn't matter whose fault it was. I agree with that, but I think it matters that it happens. And I think that fans obsess over it, and I think that's why they're making that debate.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, it shouldn't have happened. He can't drop the ball for sure. But was it Rob's fault? Like, no, it was a fair pass. Like, if you want to place blame on DJ. It was a solid pass. He just gave it away. Butterfingers. It happens. You still had a chance. That doesn't mean anything. You got to wipe it because
Yeah.
you live to fight again. You got the foul and you go to overtime and you got 5 fresh minutes and they couldn't do really anything in that anyways. And like Aaron, is in foul trouble the whole time. I was saying to my buddies when he picked up his fourth, I was like, just leave him in because like when you get like it just happens. Like there are just 5 million examples of bigs. You can't bring them in and out for like a minute stretch when they get in foul trouble like that. You got to just let like Aaron just kind of get in a rhythm. Like I know he's got four. I know he's gonna get attacked by the opposing offense to try to get him to pick up his fifth. But in that moment, especially when you didn't really need Aaron, like you had a good shot to win the game without him. Hugo was playing well, and then Trey was doing fine, as a small ball five because A&M didn't really have a good big. So it's like, okay, like Aaron, just stay out there, try to figure it out. Like you got four, be cautious, but just play your game, try to get a rhythm, That way he can actually be a player. He wasn't even a player in this game. He was nothing. He was a non-factor. At least let him work through it. If he picks up his fifth, then that's fine because he was already irrelevant all game and he was going to continue to be irrelevant when you keep bringing him in and out. And then he did nothing in overtime anyway. So if he's already a zero, then just leave him out there. So he's either going to be a zero and foul out, or he can actually become something, like get in a rhythm, get a post up, make a good play, and then he becomes a player. So I mean, I'm in the minority in that sense because of course it's always, oh, 2 fouls, pull your big, 4 fouls, pull your big. But I would have left him in there to just let him kind of cook and get in a rhythm. But that's an irrelevant point. I agree with you. The team itself played really well. The defense is still piss poor, and it's going to become a problem in March when, the offense isn't quite there and you can't rely on your defense in a, 64-61 game. Those things happen in the tournament. And so I worry if the offense can't show up, what's it going to look like for this team? That's my concern.
Yeah, last week on the podcast, I kind of said I wasn't as crazy, bent out of shape over Kentucky's defense as everybody else, and I kind of want to take a step back on that statement. I'm surprised I didn't get cooked a little bit more for that online because I figured that was taking the opposite take, and man, I kind of want to take a step back on that. Our defense did look really bad. I think Texas A&M averaged, like, I think it was 73 points a game, and including overtime they got 97 on us. I think it was 89 at the end of the game, so 16 points over what they averaged. Kentucky, I mean, you give up 89 to that team when they only average 73. It's like something's going wrong, and it's your defense. And back to the Aaron thing, he had 4 fouls in 4 minutes at one point. It's like I wonder if that was their emphasis of, like, we're gonna take him out and let Trey Mitchell kind of see if he'll do something, because they don't have Texas A&M does not have a whole lot of big presence. So I don't know if that was their target of, like, let's get Bradshaw out and deal with everybody else. I don't know.
No, that fourth foul, I mean, it's a fair point, but the fourth foul, it's just a bad play by Aaron. Like he just brought his arms forward too much. He brought his arms forward and down to try to swat at the ball. It's like, no, like hands up. And if you're
Yes.
gonna bring him forward, sometimes you'll get away with it, but you can't bring him down too and then try to get a block and mess with it. Like that is a clear foul that they'll call 10 times out of 10. He's got to be smarter than that. I know he's just a freshman, but that's just a bad foul. The other ones I can't remember too well. I'd have to go back and look at them, but I do remember that fourth foul. It's like, no, dude, you got 3 fouls like early in the second half or whenever it was, middle of the second half. Like you can't do that. You need to get in the game, stay in the game.
Yeah.
But so, yeah,
Especially when you got, that fourth foul right before that, you got three. Especially when you got three and you're trying to manage your fouls for the rest of the game, you've got to be like, no aggressiveness at all, straight up. Don't even try. Like, you can't take any chances. You knew once you came in with 3 fouls and you had 3 minutes at that point, they're going to target you and kind of try to get you to get that fourth foul, take you out for the rest of the game until about 4 minutes, because that's what Cal does. They went as soon as he came back in, they went right at him on the first play. Fourth foul, he came in for under a minute, went out until like the last few minutes of the regulation. So yeah, that does suck. Aaron Bradshaw was not a factor in this game at all.
that's why I would have just kept them in and been like, look, they're not gonna if they want to attack you every single possession, fine. Like that's not their recipe. That's not what got them there. If they want to keep forcing it and force these drives into a clogged paint, fine. That'll throw off their game plan. And as long as you're smart, you don't pick up that fifth, then you're good. They get thrown off their rhythm offensively. And then you get Aaron on the other end, and he could get a couple buckets. I'm in the minority there, but it's if they had more depth, like if they had Z and you could afford Aaron out, then like I wonder if like Cal would have gave him some more opportunity because you just can't he was just a zero and he was a zero in overtime too. So it really wasn't like, oh, we need to save him just in case, and I don't know if Ugo had many fouls, but Ugo was good. Like you can roll the rest of the game with Ugo. So like let Aaron cook, and you either have him or he fouls out. Who cares?
Yeah, this is clearly Ugo's best game that he's had. By far the most minutes, so he got more of a sample size of him. But he got 31 minutes. I think Cal said he's not got, and Cal just went off the top of his head, but he said he's not got more than 5 minutes a game in one stretch at least. So he got 31 minutes. Old man Trey Mitchell got 44 minutes, a career high.
Crazy.
career high after 5 or whatever 5th or 6th season of basketball he's in of college basketball, career high. You know, there's overtime that is included in that. But yeah, I mean, I loved what we got to see from Uganda and Enzo. I mean, looking at his stats, I mean, and keep in mind these aren't the craziest stats, but for him, these are great. It's good to see progression from him. But he had 7 points on 3 for 5 shooting. He had let's see, 10 rebounds. He only had 2 fouls and he had 1 block, I believe. 31 minutes. Trey Mitchell, you know, of course, we got to see more minutes. Both of those two got all the minutes with Aaron Bradshaw not being a factor. And Trey Mitchell was on triple double watch for a little bit. I mean, he had like, let's see, going off of these, he had, well, I guess not quite. He had 8 points, 6 assists, and 13 rebounds. So I mean, it was like a 7-7-7 type of deal, not close to triple double, but he was hitting all categories. So I mean, it's good to see you have some progression from Ugo. I mean, I've said all year I don't expect nothing from him. I last year I didn't think he, in the very small sample size that we got from him, he wasn't good at all. He was not coordinated, and as we've gotten to see him this year, he looks a lot more coordinated. I think he held his own for 31 minutes last year. If he would ever got those type of minutes, he would have got exposed. I mean, he got exposed in the 3 or 4 minutes that he had last season in those games. So I love to see what we had from him. Trey Mitchell. Oh, my only pick out of him is that he had 2 airball threes, and I don't know if he's airballed. I mean, he has airballed often this year, and he had 2 in the same game. I just don't know if it was just the how it played out. You know, sometimes you get on a court, it's a different feel. I mean, he only had 8 points. I thought he's been in double digits all year. I don't know if things are just different for him or if he just had a different assignment, wasn't really scoring. But I would like to have seen Trey Mitchell get some more points, especially on that last tip in at the very end. That would have sent it to, you know, they would have won the game. And he kind of missed that. So that's just me being picky, though.
Yeah, I feel you. That second air ball in the second half where he was like, my bad. That was he forced that one a little bit. But I like him shooting. He's a good shooter. Like shoot, keep I got no problems with him shooting, but if he's forcing, yeah, then that's a problem. But the 44 minutes, man, it's a lot.
Yeah.
They need Aaron big time. But the rest of the guys, as we said last week, just super impressed with DJ and Tone, especially Tone, just scoring at all 3 levels. The dude's just certified bucket. I'm glad that Billis was giving him some love on the broadcast. Like, he should be in the NBA. I think he
And
should. As we said, he'll get a summer league invite minimum. But Reed
I
13,
I
huh?
definitely you said that last week, and most people haven't said that this year. You said last week Antonio Reeves should be in the NBA, and a lot of people haven't came out and boldly said that. You said it last week. Jay Billis said it this time. You know, I agree with it. I mean, he's playing. I mean, he's Kentucky's leading scorer on a team full of future NBA players. How's he not cut out somewhere in the NBA?
As you guys know by now, we've partnered with BetMGM this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 each and every week of the college basketball season. We have a special offer that will be available starting on Tuesday, January 9th, and running through Monday, February 12th, the morning after Super Bowl 58. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, in honor of the big game, you can use the bonus code FIELD158 and you'll get $158 in free bets on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not you win that first bet. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app. Sign up using the bonus code FIELD158. Deposit at least $5 and place your first wager on any game. You'll receive $158 in bonus bets regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD158 when you sign up. And remember, BetMGM is now available under one wallet in select states. As a New Jersey resident, this is super convenient when I have to go cover games in New York or Philly, which happens quite a bit. When you cross state borders, you just log into your existing account and fire away. You don't have to create separate accounts in each state. It's easy, it's simple, it's clean. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the heart of the college basketball season. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odd boosts, and my favorite, a nice juicy parlay boost. So download the BetMGM app and sign up today. Field 158.
Yeah, they would have loved to have a do in this game defensively. They needed him. You could have thrown a do on, like in a lot of different situations with what's his face, Radford. Um, I like Adu's defense a lot. So you missed him out there. Justin. I still don't love his defense. He made a couple plays, but I just don't. Don't love what I'm seeing from Justin. So, um, I don't know what the deal is with the dude, like when we could see him come back, but they need him.
Well, Cal, his radio call-in show thing was just a few hours ago. It was this evening, and he said Adu's still at day to day. And as soon as the caller called in, he was like, "What's his status?" And he's like, "Yep, still day to day. He didn't practice today, and today's Monday." For the people watching this, as when we're recording it. Um, but then he immediately switched to, like, you know how he's very good at answering questions the way he wants to, and it was literally like, "Adu is day to day. He didn't practice today, but Big Z," and he just got on a big thing about Z. So he definitely didn't want to talk about it, and I'm not saying there's anything there, but he's just like, "Yep, let's just get past the day to day," and then went on about Z status. Did you get to catch any of that?
No, what do you say about Z?
He just nothing important. Yeah, well, actually, I mean, we finally saw some kickback. I mean, he just said he walked up to Z and was just like, "Hey, I feel so bad for you," something along those lines. And Z was like, "I want to help my team, but I'm good. Don't worry about me, coach. I've been waiting here all this time." But then I did like that Cal said, "If this thing gets too much longer, we're gonna give a little kickback." And he's quote, "We might get a little more aggressive." So I mean, again, it's like, what's he gonna do bringing him this late? But like, I think if you just keep on going for so long with no answer, that's what makes me so annoyed. It's like, give us a yes or no, so we don't have to sit here and just twiddle with our fingers and just wait. Like, give us something.
Yeah, he's not playing. I doubt it. What's that? What that stipend? That was kind of a story last week.
Yeah, something about him receiving $200 or $300. I'm not sure, dude. I mean, like,
Coach K, right? Didn't K say that?
yeah, I didn't get to go back and watch that podcast, but it was on Coach K's pod, or they were on something together, Cal and Coach K. I need to go back and listen to that because it could kind of elaborate on that a little bit more. But dude, like these players are making a couple $100,000 a year on the same team as Zvonimir Ivicic. Like, what's the big deal, man? It's a couple $100. I would bet that he's got more than that. It's just, what's the big deal with a couple $100? I mean, I don't know, man. Just old school NCAA with their rules, and I just don't have an answer for it, man. I don't know. But
I doubt it, but it would be fun to see him. I mean, he even if he came back, it's hard to just jump in an SEC play. Like he
yeah.
would probably struggle, really struggle, especially defensively. But it kind of would be fun to see him come in late games. Like it just if there wasn't a close game, just see him come in and get a couple buckets. But I doubt it. I mean, they can still be a Final Four team without him. Certainly, they don't need him. Um, I
Nope.
think this team still for them to be scoring like this is crazy. I mean, it doesn't end. That's pretty impressive. So they're going to keep rolling with it. I want to see them keep it to 70. Instead of the high 80s.
Well, dude, you said this team, putting up all those points. I saw right before the game, or actually the day before the game, it said Kentucky is projected, do they score over or under 76 and a half? I'm like, they're averaging 90 a game, literally. They haven't scored less than 80 once this year. I was like, that's a lock. And they did. It took them a little bit longer than I thought. There was about 7 minutes left in the game, but they did. I was like, that's a lock. They're going to get over 76 and a half, and they end up with 89 in regulation. But anyways, you were just talking about, in terms of long-term picture, this team's still a Final Four team. I agree with that. And we're seeing a lot of national analysts say that. I think it was just Jay Williams had just said that. So many of these people that do college basketball for a living have said that in long-term future, I think this game was good for this team because, I, of course, don't want them to lose, but like that was a fight. That was another, just like that Kansas game, to teach you how to try to close out the game, to get in that situation so you're prepared for it next time. You don't want this happening in March. And they've got they've lost in the Kansas game in the final stretch. They've lost now in this one. There was another game I can't think of, but then in the final stretch, they had to kind of pull it out, and they did, and it was good, kind of build your team up. That's good that they're getting, if you're going to take anything away from this game, it's good that they're getting this now instead of coming and having to do it for the first time in the NCAA tournament. So, I mean, hate that they lost, but I'm glad that they had a tough on the road situation that they honestly could have won, but then just didn't make the plays at the end. If you go over 8 for shooting, well, the cards aren't in your favor there, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, it was the UNC game where
Is
the
it?
North Carolina game. I think when they were that was a tight game. But yeah, I think you're talking about a different one. Now you're right. There was another one, and obviously the Florida game. That was tight till the end. So
That's it.
they're
Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. So, but the North Carolina game was tight too. So They're a good team. They keep getting buckets. Like Reed is still a baller. All the things we keep saying. I'm just kind of waiting for Justin to kind of show a little bit more, but I still love his athleticism. 8 points, 4 boards. He kind of sneaky gets 8, the last few games, but he's just kind of he's just kind of in no man's land out there. There's only one ball, and you never really want the ball in his hands. So that's a that's a bummer for him, but there's still a lot of time left. Maybe he can start to develop a little bit more.
I think we would be remiss if we didn't know. You were just talking about Reed Shepard. What about those two free throws, man? I didn't make the trip. I was at home watching this, and man, that's the most nervous I've been for a Kentucky game in a while. I was just like, the amount of pressure that takes to get up there. Like, if you miss one of these, you're losing it for your team. And of course, it's not on him, but like, you've got to hit these to keep your team to go to overtime. He got up there and he's smiling. I'm like, I was over here like, just like, oh my gosh, just like, let's hit these, just make these, dude. He went up there smiling. It's probably a psychological thing. You got to go up there, and if you sit there for 1 second and think about how big of this moment is, you're gonna get nervous. So that's how humans work. But if you get up there and like, I've done this a million times, it's a normal free throw. Forget the environment. He went up there and probably was telling himself something, and he was smiling, having a good time, calm as can be. Went up there, banked those two shots or those two free throws, and he in the Florida game he went 6 for 6 on free throws in the final 19 seconds. This one, he hit 2 for 2 in regulation, and then overtime, I think he went 2 for 3 or something. But if you put that together, that's 12 for 13, I believe, and crunch time. Like that's showing up to the moment, man. 12 for 13, and when your team needs you to make these, it's not like you miss them and you go to overtime. You make them to keep yourself tied, and then to go to overtime, and that's a lot of balls, man. Sure.
Yeah, I when he was smiling, I was like, "What is he doing?" But then I was like, someone probably. I don't think he was just smiling, just like to smile. I think part of me thinks someone said something to him, like one of the Aggies were like, "Oh, you're about to brick" or something, and that's why he was like. Then that's why he was smiling, laughing. He's like, "No, I'm not." Maybe he was just smiling at the moment, but I think my guess is someone said something to him, like an Aggie who was just like, "Ah, you're about to brick" or something. But yeah, that's big stuff. He's got guts.
I think we're
I'm trying
seeing
to. Huh?
I think you're seeing great basketball out of DJ Wagner. Speaking of who's got guts, I mean that was one of his best games. That man just was willing it to the rim, just getting those layups over and over again, fighting through the lane. I mean, I was really, really impressed with DJ Wagner's performance. I don't remember how many points he finished with, but I think it was 10, 12, something like that.
DJ at 18 and 4 assists.
Wow. Wow. It sure felt like he had a lot. I mean, I don't know. I was just really impressed with DJ's. Most of his points came out when it's like, okay, we need a bucket here. Let's not get
Yeah.
this gap get too much farther. But I was really impressed with him.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like just when like the offense is sputtering, he can just take it to the cup and he can just get there. He's strong, he's quick. NBA teams should really like him too. I mean, I know obviously Robin Reed's getting all the headlines, but DJ should, he's a guy. I'd like to see him shoot a little bit better, but he can still shoot. But he's a good two-way player.
Well, the thing with DJ is like he has been for a while for the last month, but like he's finally playing the basketball that we expected him to be when he came to Kentucky. Just like every freshman, you have a slow start. He's been playing this way for a month now, but like he's at the top of his game. Like this is the best he's played since he's been here. That was one. If that wasn't his best game, I would probably say that's in his top two, maybe three. I mean, it was just dominant. Let me lead this team. Let me go get buckets, run the show, and I don't know. He's playing great basketball, and DJ is just who we expect him to be. I know we talked about last time he wanted Justin Edwards to be there right with him. He's not, but I don't know. DJ Wagner is playing great. One thing I would have hoped for as well is like Wade Taylor on Texas A&M. He was their leading scorer. I think he was like the game before the one before us. He had like 30 something in that game. It's like you knew he was going to be the guy, and he came out and got his own, man. Wade Taylor just he got hot, and some of that's the home environment and just get you going, but like the game plan was to stop him, and I wish we could have gotten him a little bit more and cooled him off a little bit. But that goes back to our defense. Our defense struggling again. I did see sometimes they put Rob Dillingham on him and just face guarded him, but it didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, Taylor and Radford got buckets. Like the only two guys that are really any good on that team. they let him cook. That's a problem. You just got to take those guys out. You can't take Wade Taylor out, even though I think it was the game before he struggled. He struggled in that Auburn game. He was like 2 for 12 or something crazy. Like I think they were saying that on the broadcast that he struggled. It was either the game before or 2 games ago. He Wade Taylor really struggled, and you could tell why he was voted up there so high. That dude's a bucket for sure.
Yeah. But moving on to the tough, off that tough loss, Kentucky, of course, falls in the AP poll. And I got for the first time this year, I've got a little beef with that. I thought the spot was all right. Like, there's just two spots I knew they were going to fall. But man, Houston's still above us. They've lost 2 to unranked teams just last week. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Purdue. I think they're fraudulent, but who knows? But they dropped 2 spots to number 8 this week. Kentucky's now 12-3 on the season. They snapped their 6-game winning streak. 2-1 in the SEC. Just looking over these real quickly, and then this week, I think you said it's Wednesday night. We got Mississippi State in town. They just beat Tennessee at home, and then I think Georgia's next Saturday. But Mississippi State's a decent team. I still, of course, think Kentucky's the better team. Kentucky needs to get the win, or you got bigger issues to look at. But it's not going to be a blowout. I mean, Mississippi State just beat number 5 Tennessee at Mississippi State. So they got. It's a solid team. You still got to go out and hit your game plan for sure. But that's Wednesday night. Are you going to be there Wednesday night?
Yeah, I'll be there. Me and Colby, I'll be shooting the game on the court, so it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think for us, Tim, behind the scenes for y'all that can't see him, he's going to be there, and I think our guy Jordan's going to be there. I won't be there. But yeah, Michael, I'm
Be
just
there
looking
Saturday,
Saturday. Don't
Georgia.
check. Yeah, I think so. I know Tim for sure will be there taking pictures and stuff. But I'm looking over my notes right now, man. That's about all that I got. Another game where we had multiple players going double digits. Antonio Reeves 22, his 7th 20-point game of the season. DJ Wagner had 18th, his 9th double-figure scoring game of the season, and 4th in a row. Back to where I was saying he's on it right now. 4 games in a row with 10+ points. Dillingham had 15, off the bench, just a spark of offense. And then Reed Shepard 13. So good offense. Definitely got to get our defense going for sure.
Yeah, they're about to cook on Wednesday. I'd take the Cats by like 20.
You think so?
I think they're gonna
I've
cook.
been watching a whole lot of Mississippi State this year.
That Georgia game was close too. Georgia's solid team. They had a solid game. Wasn't that the game right before Kentucky?
Yeah, they almost got Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
One thing I was watching that Mississippi State Tennessee game last week, and you know who's still at Mississippi State? Is his name like something Jeffrey, DJ Jeffrey? I'm gonna butcher that. Something like that.
Is he?
What?
I don't know. I don't. I that name sounds familiar.
He committed to us, or like was about to commit. It was like so close, and he just goes to Memphis. And it was everybody's confused by that. Went down there, it was awful. And he's been at Mississippi State. I think they said like 3 seasons now, but it feels like he's been there like 5 years. But yeah, I mean, in the couple minutes I did get to see that game, I wasn't too impressed with Mississippi State. They don't look that good. But then I was looking at the score. I was like, they're beating Tennessee. Number 5 Tennessee. So I don't know. I don't really know what to think with them. I definitely got to do some more reading up and scouting on them before I kind of take some bold predictions. I really don't know a whole lot about them, but I hope you're right on that, man. I hope we smack them. That's good for our resume, sure.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, they lost to Southern. I remember that. They lost to Southern U at home on December 3rd.
What's their record?
Lost to Georgia Tech. You said what's their record? 11-3. It's good, but South Carolina's 13-1, man. They just keep winning. That's crazy. But yeah, I think they're that 11-3 is definitely fraudulent. The Cats are about to smoke them. I'd put money on the Cats winning by like 20. Georgia, they're 12-4. Yeah, man, the SEC's good. I mean, conference play just started though. We'll see how these teams really stack up over the next few weeks. But Cats are 2-1 in league play. Auburn and Alabama are 3-0. Ole Miss, South Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, LSU are 2-1.
That Tennessee game at home is at both places is gonna be nuts. We already know that, but Well, we're ramping right up into SEC play, and you know, until our next time that we get to hop on here, Michael, I will be from a distance rooting on Detroit Lions tomorrow, just for you. I don't have an NFL team. I mean, I have rooted for the Bengals when they're doing good, just to kind of be involved, but I don't watch really any of the games. I don't have an NFL team, unfortunately, but I will pull for the Lions for you. I'm hoping they win. Who you said they play again?
The winner of Tampa Philly, which I'm about to go watch as I put my show together to anchor tonight. So
Okay. Who do you want to win that one? Like, which team would you rather play?
Tampa.
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 Okay.
Yeah. Don't want to face Philly. Philly scares me. They got a lot of talent. I'll
Okay.
take Baker coming in the Ford Field. He's not winning that game.
Yeah. Well, guys, we will we will hop out of here and catch you all next time. And Kentucky will hopefully they get the win against Mississippi State. I'm confident they will. But guys, we'll catch you next time. Michael, thanks for hopping on here tonight. I know you got a busy schedule, man, but we appreciate you as always. Tim, thank you.
Go Lions.
Lions. Yeah, I'll say it. Go Lions. We're
Yes,
out.
sir.